Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Cooking for the Family. I'm Devon and today I'm going to share with you how I make Irish soda bread. Now these are the ingredients. We're going to be using some baking soda, flour, sugar, salt, some buttermilk, egg, some unsalted butter, and our flour, of course. So the ingredients are really simple and the recipe comes together and makes just this wonderful, delicious bread. So first what we're going to do is in our bowl, we're going to be using some all-purpose unbleached flour, and we're going to be using 4 cups of all-purpose unbleached flour. Now it's not necessary for you to sift the flour. You can if you like, but I have found that with making the Irish soda bread, you don't need to, but you do want to level it off like I was just showing there. You want to make sure that you have nice level scoops of your unbleached all-purpose flour, okay? And we're also going to use 2 additional tablespoons. So the measurements are 4 cups plus 2 tablespoons of the all-purpose flour. Now this bread, if you've never had Irish soda bread, it's a dense bread that is very good, goes great for just having in the morning with breakfast. Depending on the ingredients that you want to add to it, you can add currants or raisins for that extra sweetness. But for our Irish soda bread, we're definitely going to sweeten it up with some sugar, and we're going to be using 4 tablespoons of sugar. So it basically boils down to, for every scoop of flour, we're adding in, for every scoop, which is every cup of flour, we're adding in 1 tablespoon. Okay, so that's 4 tablespoons of granulated sugar that we're adding. Now in the description box below, I will have a list of all the ingredients you need to make this delicious Irish soda bread. Now I'm going to share with you though how to put it together so that way you get the results that you want. All right, so in addition to that, we're going to also put in 1 teaspoon of salt, and so we're just using 1 teaspoon of regular table salt, and we're also going to be using some baking soda, and the baking soda is our only leveling that we're putting in our bread, and so we're going to be using 1 teaspoon of baking soda as well. Now once you have your dry ingredients in your bowl, give everything a good mix just like I'm doing there, and you want to use either a whisk or either a fork to blend all your dry ingredients together, and you want to do a nice good blend and mix because you really want to distribute the sugar, the soda, the baking soda, and the salt all amongst that flour that we have in our bowl. Now once we've done this, we're going to add in our unsalted butter, and we're going to be using 5 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Now our unsalted butter does not have to be ice cold. Typically, like when I've done like my biscuits and different things and my pie doughs, you want that to be cold. But when making the Irish soda bread, it does not have to be ice cold. It can be just slightly on the countertop for a little while. You don't want it warm and you don't want it melted. You just want your butter just slightly soft, And so we're going to measure out our 5 tablespoons of our unsalted butter. And we're just going to chop those tablespoons up to small pieces. And those small pieces are going to be about the size of a dime. And we're going to take those pieces and add them to our dry ingredients. And then we're just going to mix those really well with our dry ingredients until those pieces are about the size of a pea. Now, hey, if you are new to my channel, welcome. And if you're a returner, welcome back. And I want to thank you all for your likes, your shares, your subscribes, and taking the time and spending some time with me in my kitchen and enjoying all the beautiful recipes and the videos that I have shared with all of you. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I invite you to hit that subscribe button. And hitting that subscribe button is totally free, and clicking that notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos when I share some wonderful recipes, stories, and different things that we are sharing from my kitchen. Now once we have the butter in with the dry ingredients, you want to do what I'm doing, which is just taking your thumb and your fingers, and you want to press and blend that butter that was just slightly softened. We're pressing it and blending it in with our flour, with the sugar, with the salt, with the baking soda, with all the dry ingredients, and go around and you want to mix it in really, really well and break it down into small pieces the size of, like, say a pea. or even you want to break that down even smaller. You want to have a few of the big pieces, but it's going to feel kind of like grainy. It's going to feel almost like cornmeal in a sense once you really break down that flour and you mix it into the butter. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to mix our wet ingredient. Our wet ingredients are just two things. We're going to use 1 large egg that we have at room temperature, and we're going to use 1 3/4 cup of buttermilk. Okay, and so first what you want to do is you want to really thoroughly beat your egg prior to adding in your buttermilk. Okay, and so this is going to be the 1 3/4 cup of buttermilk. Now once we end up adding the wet ingredient of the buttermilk and egg to our flour mixture, if need be, you may need to use 1 additional tablespoon of buttermilk. Okay, so keep your buttermilk handy because we may need to use just 1 additional tablespoon of buttermilk, and that's only need be if our flour and our batter is just really dry. Then we may need to use just a little bit more, a couple of drops more or so of that buttermilk. But usually the 1 3/4 cup is perfect. Now while we're doing this though, I do have my oven. My oven is preheating on 400 degrees, okay? And we're going to be baking this at 400 degrees for 45 minutes to 55 minutes, all right? And I'm also going to share with you a couple of things to look out for when you're baking your Irish soda bread in your oven. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to slowly pour our buttermilk egg mixture into our dry ingredients. You want to do this slowly, and you want to also use a spatula like I'm using, a rubber spatula. You can also use a wooden spoon if you like, but you just want to just add it in gradually, just like I'm doing. And as I'm letting the buttermilk and egg mixture go into the flour mixture, you want to mix the flour around, just kind of move it around, so that way you're making sure that you're evenly trying to moisten that dry ingredient with that buttermilk, just like I was doing there. Okay, so don't just pour it in all at once. You don't want to do that. You want to just add it in gradually, and as you're adding it in, you want to be moving around that flour bit in your bowl. And now once we've gotten to this stage, all you do is just take your spatula, go around your bowl. You're going to go top to bottom, and you're going to press. You're going to be pressing the flour and the buttermilk and egg mixture together, and just rotate and press. Go from bottom to top and press over, and you're going to repeat that bottom to top and press over. Once you've gone and you've done that for a minute, and you've kind of have mixed most of that dry flour into the buttermilk and egg mixture, then we're going to switch over and we're going to use our hands, and we're going to finish mixing that flour, our flour and our dough. Okay, and so once we get to this step, what you want to do is, you see how I'm just gathering it? I'm going from top to bottom still, and we have that sticky dough, and we still have some dry patches of flour. And so we're going to continue to do this until the dough has gathered all of the dry flour and you have no dry flour left in your bowl. All right, and then we're going to use a little bit of flour, about a couple of tablespoons, just a little bit of flour, and we're going to roll out and knead our dough. And when I say roll out, we're going to be doing this all with our hands and with our palms. And so what you want to do is you want to take your dough, you want to gather it, you want to knead it towards you, push it back, flip it over, take it away from you, push it from you, bring it towards you. And you're going to continue to do this. You're going to do it several times until your dough is nice and soft. Okay, and you're going to make a nice round ball, and your dough is nice and soft. The crease at the bottom, what you do is you pinch and you gather it together, just like I'm doing there, and that's going to be the bottom of our soda bread. Okay, so just pinch it, gather that dough, pinch it really good, close up that seam. You don't want the seam to be open at all, because then your soda bread will split a lot, and you don't want that. So make sure you really pinch and gather that seam. Now, when it comes to baking our Irish soda bread, you can use a baking stone like I'm doing here, or either you can use a cast iron skillet, either an 8-inch or a 9-inch cast iron skillet, and you just put it right in the middle of your skillet, your cast iron skillet. I'm going to be using my stone, my baking stone, and we're also going to score. we're going to score our bread. This is an important step because this bread is dense. It's a thick piece, a big piece of bread that we are making. And because of that, you want to make sure that it is going to bake all the way through. And so you want to just use, and see how I just made the little X right there, and you're just going to split it just like that. And I'm making a seam, and this is going to be about a 1/2 of an inch is what I'm doing. And you see, and this is what it's going to look like as it bakes. And as it bakes, it's going to expand, and that seam will get bigger, and that is going to be good because that's going to help that center to really cook and be done. So our Irish soda bread has baked for 55 minutes in our oven. It has come out so nicely. It is nice and a beautiful rich brown. And what I was saying earlier about when your Irish soda bread is baking, if it seems to be getting too brown, if it seems to be going from a nice deep color to starting to just brown too much, take a piece of foil and just loosely cover your Irish soda bread while it's baking in the oven. You can go on and cover it with a piece of foil. That way it can continue to bake through, so that way it's nice and done and it's not doughy in the middle at all. You want to bake it nice and done for that 45 to 55 minutes. And but if it's getting too brown, just go on and put that piece of foil on top, just loose piece of foil, and let it continue to bake. All right. And how you know, see how I was tapping on the bottom? You want to have like a hollow sound. You want it to sound hollow. If it sounds hollow, then you know your Irish soda bread has baked all the way through. But usually about 55 minutes, right up in there, should do it at that 400 degrees. Okay. And so I went on and I was cutting us up our bread. You see the middle, it looks really good. Wow. This looks really good. I'm going to go on and cut us up a middle piece right here. And this is what our Irish soda bread is looking like. Oh my goodness. And it is still really warm to the touch. I'm going to put some butter on mine. And I'm also going to put a little jam. And what I was talking about earlier is that with the Irish soda bread, you can also add currants, dried currants, orange zest, dried raisins, different dried fruits like that are definitely something that a lot of people love and enjoy with their Irish soda bread. But for us, we just baked it up like this today. And this is how I normally do it for the family. And that right there, that bite's for you. Go ahead and take your bite. All right, I'm going to take a bite and I'm going to see how we did. Oh, wow. I need my coffee, some hot tea. This Irish soda bread, y'all, is so good. Oh my goodness. And it smells so good. The taste is just perfect. That little touch of sweetness, the texture is just perfect, y'all. Well, I hope you give this recipe a try. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, go on and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to click share and share this video with a friend or family. And remember, it's always good when Devon is cooking for the family. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.